My name is Denish, and I came to New Mexico by being born here. And Herb came when he was a young child at 6 months, so we both considered ourselves natives. And both of us are graduates of the University of New Mexico. For Herb, I think the value of a scholarship was something he didn't have when he came to UNM, that he had to, piece together the way to pay for UNM. And I think that he knows that it makes the path a little smoother for students if they can have an opportunity to be relieved, frankly, of the burden to make choices between their work and their studies. It also helps them complete their studies earlier if they have financial assistance. He believed in community planning, and while there's so many elements of architecture and planning and land use planning that go together, community planning, making sure that you're knitting together the voices of the community to make sure you're doing the right thing. He was very committed. I have no doubt that could he have done this in his lifetime, and I wish he could have, to see the twinkle in the eye of the scholars. But I never doubted for 1 minute that this is something that he would want us to be doing and to continue to do. Herb always planned to be a UNM grad. He loved UNM. And I came here after a year at another school because I wanted to be home in New Mexico. There was never any question of whether he could or would go to any other school. He always wanted to be a Lobo. So Herb began his career working for model cities. And that was really the most organic federal program that helped make planning possible in neighborhoods around Albuquerque. But he always was involved in the community, and he had a lot of mentors, which I think is one of the most important things. One of the downtown iconic structures is First Plaza. Herb was the project manager on that. First Plaza was one of the first multi-story structures downtown. At the end of his life, he was working with the new owners on the rail trail and pedestrian crossings and utilizing First Plaza for live, work, and play. So it was kind of the grounding stone of a lot of his career, was the First Plaza development downtown. Community planning is really about people, and it's about relationships, and it's about working with the community, not leaving them out of the discussion. And the kind of thing that Herb did, and what people told me after he passed away, was that he was always the guy that was developing those relationships from the bottom of the ladder to the top of the ladder. One of the things we struggle with in New Mexico is getting students to stay here and live and work. And I believe everybody has kind of an innate love story with New Mexico if you've grown up here. And I want those people to stay here and be the planners of our communities. So I really hope that through this scholarship that we will be able to identify some of those people. Of course, I want a few more women in the profession, and I think that is the contribution I can make to setting this up, and the structure of this is to sometimes focus on young women who want to be part of community planning, architecture, things that are going to make their community better. I would say if you can do a scholarship before you pass away, you should do it. I think that's the joy of having been successful in your line of work. But if you can't, if someone passes away and you want to honor them in the truest way, find their niche in this school. Find their niche and make sure that you not only fund the scholarship, but you get other people to fund the scholarship. People are so generous, and they like to help you do the kind of work that you're doing, and sometimes that relates to a scholarship fund. So I think it's really important to make sure that when you do it, that you invite people to join you in that effort.